if you're around my age, early 40s, very old millennials, one of the oldest millennials you'll find, you'll remember when Jagged Little Pill made its splash. And Alanis Morissette was a very large part of my teenage angst. We all had it. And I played it so often and so frequently. And it became very important. And the words resonated long after the splash had gone. And long after we'd stopped completely vilifying her for the misuse of irony. She'll never ever live that one down. But Alanis Morissette, Head Over Feet, was the defining moment in a relationship when you realised that you'd found someone. And even despite your own misgivings, neuroses and misgivings, realising that you actually had to acknowledge that you'd found someone, even though you didn't think you were going to. Head Over Feet by Alanis Morissette, and it has been my defining bright light in realising that I'd found a relationship that worked. Someone who I wanted to be with, wanted to spend time with, and didn't want to run away from at some point.
I had no choice but to hear you. You stated your case time and again. I thought about it. You treat me like I'm a princess. I'm not used to liking that. You ask how my day was. You've already won me over in spite of me. And don't be alarmed if I fall head over feet. And don't be surprised if I love you for all that you are. I couldn't help it. It's all your fault.
You gave me no choice but to see you and to appreciate you, because you showed me time and again how much you appreciated me. Isn't that what a relationship is supposed to look like? But not realising it. So you treat me like I'm a princess, and I'm not used to liking that. Oh, you can have people who treat you wonderfully, but they can treat you like a princess without actually seeing you. And that's that quintessential part of it, isn't it? People can treat you very nicely, they can put you up on a pedestal and treat you wonderfully, but they do it all without actually realising who you are, or actually liking you as a person, because they've just put you up on this pedestal and like the idea of you. And that, even though, from my perspective, I was at a point in my early 20s, well, mid-20s, if I'm being honest, where I had got to the point where I was thinking, they either treat me badly, or suffocate me, or don't see me. And I had all but given up the idea of anyone actually wanting to be with me inside. So I went into relationships and encounters, shall we say, not expecting anything. I was jaded. I had come to the conclusion at this point that the only way I would ever have a long-term relationship is if it was someone in the military, stationed away most of the time, or someone who worked on an oil rig. Because then I would have plenty of me time, and they wouldn't suffocate me, they wouldn't annoy me. Yeah, I was at that point. So, but despite that, despite thinking that for so long and thinking, by the time I'm 30, I'll probably be in a relationship with someone who doesn't live with me, or divorced, single parent. Things do change.
Your love is thick and it swallowed me whole. You're so much braver than I gave you credit for. That's not lip service. You've already won me over in spite of me. And don't be alarmed if I fall head over feet. And don't be surprised if I love you for all that you are. I couldn't help it. It's all your fault. You are the bearer of unconditional things. You held your breath and the door for me. Thanks for your patience.
Your love is thick and it swallowed me whole. Now, I don't know how anyone else reads this, but I read it as the love that you gave me, or you give me, is so substantial that I can't help but feel it within myself. And for someone to actually love you when you are so jaded and so not looking for, because you've given up on finding something substantial and real. For someone to be so brave to actually give you enough love that you could actually fall head over feet. It is so incredibly special and so generous and patient. Now, I don't believe in unconditional love, because there are always conditions, whether you think there are or not. I mean, possibly for a child, because even though, heaven forfend, my son ever does anything quite so terrible that it would stop me from loving him, I might not like him very much. I might not even want to spend time with him if he did do something terrible, but I don't think I would ever stop loving him. So possibly parental love is unconditional, but romantic love, I think, always has conditions. So while I don't believe in that, for someone to show patience and affection and love, even when you're not actually very receptive, is a truly generous and giving spirit. And you have to appreciate that in someone.
You're the best listener that I've ever met. You're my best friend with benefits. What took me so long? I've never felt this healthy before. I've never wanted something rational.
let's be fair, she is an excellent songwriter. And she says a lot of things that we don't say. And one of those things, I've never felt this healthy before. Now, it doesn't have to mean physically healthy, but it could. Because when you feel emotionally and mentally and everything else complete, you can't help but have a more healthful feeling. Because if you don't feel complete, if you don't feel mentally and emotionally healthy, you're not going to be physically healthy. It's just one of those things. It's not going to happen. I've never wanted something rational. I'll be fair. My husband calls me the most irrational, rational person he's ever met. Which I think sums up everything, really. My husband is supremely rational. He's very logical. He's a techie. He is very much on the science, maths, logic spectrum. I'm not. I'm superstitious. But I'm also fascinated by the universe and the science behind it and all of that. So I can be supremely rational, but it's usually underlaid with supreme irrationality, flights of fancy and other things. But the rationality and stability and consistency of our relationship is that perfect foil. And it is beautiful. So, despite me and my fears of ending alone like a cat lady and wanting to run away from someone, despite feeling affectionate towards them or liking their company, sometimes you just have to have your own space. I actually found someone that I didn't expect who I wanted to be with. I didn't feel the desire to run away or ask for space or any of those things. Beyond all expectation, and despite my not believing I would ever find it, I actually managed to find someone who completed me. Yes, I know, it's an overused phrase. But when they show you who they are and how they feel about you, believe them. And that doesn't just mean the bad stuff. That means the good stuff as well.